Hi, everyone. We are Naylo's Thrift Talk. I am Nay, and I have a special guest co-host with me today.
Hi.
And Anastasia was on last week, and Lola is not feeling well again. So I asked if Anastasia could step in very last minute, and very, very courteously, she's helping out today. So
It's
and
my
it works
pleasure.
out good
It's my
because
pleasure.
she knows the topic. If you saw last week, she does sell on multiple platforms. And we're going to talk today about not putting your eggs in one basket, meaning one online platform basket, and branching out to sell on multiple platforms. So Anastasia sells on multiple, and it works out good because she sells on some platforms that I don't sell on, and I sell on some that she doesn't sell on. So we can talk about, some firsthand experience with those platforms. So very excited to have her again as a guest co-host this week. And Anastasia, do you want to say anything to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Anastasia Andrievsky. I sell on eBay. That's where my heart is. But also on Mercari, Etsy, and Amazon FBA. I live in Miami, Florida, and I've been doing this since 1998, and I'm excited. Thanks for having me, Nadine. Appreciate it.
Yes, I'm glad that you could help out in last minute. I really, it was like literally last night, and I was like, Anastasia, can you help? We're in a pinch. So
I'm honored, and this is going to be fun.
Well, we appreciate it,
and I'm looking forward to learning a lot too, because as you said, we're on, we sell on different platforms. So
yeah, so it's great because like you sell on Amazon and I don't, and I'm trying to get into Etsy, but you're already into Etsy. So, so there's different things that we can talk about. Before we start, I do have a couple quick housekeeping things to go through. First of all, if you didn't see last week, I am a graphic designer, professional graphic designer. It's what I went to school for. And I am currently offering a special deal for all of you online sellers. If you go to my Facebook page, that's my banner for it. I have a new Facebook business page. It's NS Designs at N Shearstone Designs. And you can message me, private message me, even if you want to send us an email through the show, however you want to contact me. We have three price points. So it's affordable for everyone. And I'm really giving you a lot for the money. I spend a lot of time. You're getting a professional original design. And so you can see the three price points for the different packages and what you'll get. So if anyone is interested in a store design, logo, banner, business cards, package inserts, sticker design, business Facebook design, any of that I will do. I can also do Etsy stores. I can do a Poshmark logo for you. Whatever you sell on your own website, I can help you with that. So whatever you need, I can help you with. So, and I just wanted to show a couple of that I've done this week. This is Ria she actually inherited her dad's music label. So she sells under her dad's record label, but she wanted to kind of revamp her look to be kind of modern and fit her style. She's got a really groovy personal style. So she sent me a photo of herself wearing this record scarf. And she said, can you please, I have to get the record scarf in there. And so I drew her, and then she said, oh, I needed a leather jacket, need my hair a little longer. So I did that for her. And then she wanted another version with her favorite Ray-Bans on. So if you want something like that, I can do it. And that's the final result: business cards, banner, logo. And then I did this for Tom, and he wanted his store to have like this relaxed vibe. And so he calls it Tom's Leisure Lounge. And so he thought, a guy kind of relaxed on a beach scene, all that stuff. So I did everything that he asked for, and he was happy. You can see their business cards, package inserts, and a banner and logo. So anyway, but if anyone's interested, please reach out to me and I can help you. And now we are going to get into our first segment, which is what are Anastasia and Nay wearing today that's thrifted. So Anastasia, as the guest of honor, would you like to?
Sure. Let's see. This is it.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
I know. I love it. I love the irony in it.
That is so cool. So you thrifted that?
Yeah. Actually, a friend thrifted it for me.
Okay.
She found it, I think it was a Goodwill around kind of in your neck of the woods, probably Montclair-ish.
Okay, yeah, that is my neck of the
Montclair,
woods.
New
Yeah.
Jersey. So she saw it and she's like, I had to get this for you. So
Very cool.
a few years later, I'm still wearing it. So it's been around the block.
That is what I love about thrifting. You can find things that are, you know, like they have like a special meaning to you personally, and something like one of a kind you would never find anywhere else. I love that.
Right.
That is so awesome.
So
fun. Yes, very much so. And I am wearing actually a brand that I don't thrift anymore for resale because it really tanked. But every once in a while, I'll find something that I'll buy for myself. It is LuLaRoe. And I usually don't like it. But this shirt I happened to find at the bins, and it was actually new with tags. And again, for resale, it wouldn't be good because it really tanked. But it's kind of like a tunic dress. It's got that kind of ribbed 90s look to it. And then this necklace, it's a statement necklace that I also thrifted for $2.50 at Goodwill. Awesome. So, and my earrings came from shopgoodwill.com. So I'm all
look at you, you're thrifted out. I love it.
Yes, I am. So, and then our next segment is our thrifted home decor items of the week. So we feature an item that we thrifted that, you know, either we thrifted for ourselves, for our own home, or for, you know, for resale. But I have, do you have a thrifted home decor item this week?
I do.
Okay, let me bring it up on the big screen there.
It's a mirrored vanity.
Whoa.
I don't know. Let me see if I can you kind of see it a little bit?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's so cool. Is it a tray or is it an actual?
It's a tray. It has it's a felt back. It's long. I mean, this is probably about 20 inches long by 12 inches wide. And my wife uses it and she puts all her perfume on it.
Oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty. It kind of works with our bedroom decor. And I am thrilled that that this is part of the segment because that thing has not been dusted and needed desperate dusting. So
well, there you go. You did a favor for her, right?
Exactly. A little house cleaning, a little prep for the show, and So.
Very cool. That is awesome. And it looks very mid-century.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believe that came from, I don't recommend it, but in the past I have done consignment for people. And I believe that was a consignment item that somebody had for me to sell. I couldn't sell it. Like it was up for a couple of years.
Right.
And I decided, let me just buy it from them. So I probably paid, overpaid for it. I probably paid about $10, $15 for it, but
well, that works. So, I have and Jason in the chat is going to laugh at me because I had 2 of these mugs and I recently broke one of them. I was going to sell them as a pair, but now I'm going to keep one as a single. So this is a vintage Moai tiki mug. It is Odigari, and it's got the sticker on the bottom, mid-century, and it's Hawaii Kai.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I had 2 of these. Unfortunately, now I have 1 because I am a little clumsy, and I did unfortunately drop it on the basement floor. I was unpacking them, and it shattered. I just gotten them out of my inventory recently, and I don't know why I'm echoing. That is odd. Do you hear an echo?
No, you sound fine to me.
Okay. It was in New York City. Interesting. So that might be why it was. So when I found this, I actually found 4 mugs at once, which I never find. And so obviously they came from the same collection. It was in a Goodwill in Philadelphia. And I will now keep this one because.
What's it worth? Are you keeping it because it's not worth a lot or just?
Yeah, no, I think the pair, I looked them up a while ago. I think it was like maybe $30 for the pair. Now that I have one, I'm not going to. So
cool.
30 to 40, I think it was. If I'm right, Jason will correct me. But anyway, no, the other 2, I did sell a pair of 2 successfully without breaking them. So I was going to sell the other pair, got them out of my inventory, but now I just put it in my china closet and it's now my official mug. So I don't usually find tiki mugs, but they are everywhere. And as Jason says, I did find these in the vase section. So definitely check your vase section. Is definitely a good tip there. And without further ado, we are going to get into our main segment. So don't put all of your eggs in one basket. So I started out selling on just eBay. For years, I sold on just eBay. Occasionally, I would sell on Craigslist or not Facebook Marketplace, because that wasn't really a thing then, but Craigslist. But now or maybe like there was some kind of local Philadelphia thing that I used to sell on. But it was for years, I was just eBay. And, things can happen. If you do everything right, you shouldn't get booted off of a platform. But you never know. Like, businesses go under, things happen. Sales don't always stay as steady on one platform. They kind of ebb and flow. And so it's really a good idea to branch out. And I have branched out in the last couple years to Poshmark, Depop, and Mercari. I sell, and actually, it turns out that mostly I've been selling mostly on Poshmark. Poshmark's really become my main thing, and eBay's become kind of a side gig. So I do sell. I do have an Etsy store. I have not gotten really into that yet. I have sold on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist still. Sometimes I'll still sell something large on the side there. But, it's really been a good thing because, and you'll see when we get to our solds today, I had a really big Mercari sale this week that if I wasn't selling on Mercari, I had the same item up on eBay and it didn't sell. So if I didn't have that item up on Mercari, I wouldn't have had that big sale this week. And it was on a day when my eBay sales were flat. So it's really a good idea.
I was just going to say, Nadine, like, I totally agree about, not having all your eggs in one basket, because, for instance, even like I sell on Amazon FBA, when the pandemic really, the shutdown happened in mid-March, you couldn't send stuff into FBA. Even if people bought stuff from FBA, it was going to be taking like days and days. It was quicker and more efficient for people to start buying from eBay. And as a seller, I could sell, easily. So there's stuff like that happens. But even in addition to just like not having all your eggs in one basket, I think it's just, as you were saying, you get to make more money.
Yes, exactly.
That's really I think the main thing for me is.
Yeah. And who doesn't want more money? I mean, really, basically that's what you're doing. You're turning down money if you don't branch out. So I really encourage all of you to branch out there. It can be intimidating at first. There is a learning curve. There is a lot to balance, but we'll talk a little bit about that today too. Like how we balance everything. But basically, between the two of us, we do have a wide array of, like I said, a wide array of platform experience. So what platforms do you sell on, Anastasia?
eBay. That's like the majority. Also Amazon FBA, which used to be kind of for a couple of years was like my bread and butter, but that's really taken a backseat. But Amazon FBA, Mercari, and Etsy.
Okay.
So, and I'd also, in chat or anything, so my next platforms I'm looking to branch off to are Depop, which I'm not too stressed about because I don't know, what I've heard is really easy. But also Facebook Marketplace. So if anybody I'd love to be able to do Facebook. I don't want to do the meet people at the police station thing, but just mail stuff. So I'd love to learn. That was kind of my next.
Yeah, and I would like to know more information about that too, because Facebook Marketplace does seem to be really evolving, especially lately. I think they're trying to compete with, some of the bigger platforms now. And it's not so much just, you meet at your local parking lot, to exchange something. They are doing a lot of shipping now. I've looked and things seem to be getting, there's a lot of sponsored items too. Like I noticed that there's like some stores and whatnot, and even some big box that are selling recently that are selling, they have, click ads on there and it's through Facebook Marketplace. So I think they're trying to get more course, it is still good to sell local things, like if you have something big and breakable, and I'll talk a little bit about a couple things I've sold recently there. But for the most part, I think that, they are trying to evolve and, become more of what you said, Anastasia. So the first platform that we are going to be talking about is eBay. So I sell on, like I said, I sell on eBay. Anastasia sells on eBay. The main vibe on eBay, I don't know if you'd agree, Anastasia, is large array of buyers. You can sell pretty much anything under the sun, and it's well established and pretty trusted. And unless they have, crazy employees that are doing nefarious things, but we won't talk about that. But no, for the most part, eBay is, pretty trusted, well established company, and
worldwide, as you said, it's worldwide. You can just have, I don't know, not 6 billion. Well, about 6 billion people are on eBay, but there's the whole world is your marketplace on eBay.
Exactly. And that's one of the definite pros, is that it is international. There are some other platforms that we'll be talking about that are not international. And unfortunately, it's, it is limiting, because you have the whole world, and I do sell internationally. If you're not selling internationally, you are missing out. You have, there's so many more buyers put in front of you, with, the world versus just the US. That's a big difference. So that is one of the biggest pros, is that it is, So Christine says that it also has ads on TV, and they're trying to draw customers. Absolutely. Yeah. Some of these other, I do see some Poshmark ads on now, but eBay has been doing that for a long time. It's a name that everybody knows. I've read novels, and eBay is in there.
I was just going to say, in like a movie or a TV show, did you look on eBay? It's part of the script, kind of. It's part of our vernacular.
Exactly. So it is kind of a household name. So that is an advantage, because we don't, the advertising, SEO and everything is pretty much done for you. You do still have to, I just sold something.
Woo!
So you do have to still, do the right keywords, item specifics and all that. But for the most part, the traffic comes to you if you're doing things right. So, and so I think some of the pros, you can sell almost anything. You can sell anything, like household items, memorabilia, random trinkets, old toys, clothing. I even purchase worms for my tarantulas, for my son's tarantulas, on eBay. So, anything under the sun, literally. Okay.
A car. Yeah.
A car, worms, So, yeah. So, and they do have good customer service compared to others. I know that some people have been saying during the pandemic, it's been a little tougher, but if you have eBay concierge, which you probably have concierge too, right?
No, I actually don't, because I haven't been to the past couple of opens. So.
Oh, darn. Okay.
Stinks. I was planning on this year, but anyway, it's all right. Luckily, I don't have too many problems.
So you do still find that the customer service is pretty good.
Yeah, I use eBay for Business when I do have an issue, and which is probably once every 2 months I have a question or something, and they're great. I really try to avoid the phone, just because those tend to be more they're kind people on the line, but it seems I'm being read canned responses. But eBay for Business through Messenger is great.
Yep. And that is a great thing that they do have that feature. So you can contact them in multiple ways. You can even do a chat. You can do email. You can do the eBay for Business. You can do the call-in. Now, I do find with the concierge, the call-in service is top-notch. You get top-notch reps from the U.S. You get instant, usually I don't have a wait time, and they are really, really friendly and helpful. So they kind of do cater to the concierge customers. I'm lucky that I have that. But even if you don't have concierge, it is, much easier to get customer service than other platforms. So that is definitely, and eBay also, there's not a lot of time commitment as far as, like in Poshmark, you have to share. It's very social. you can list your items and pretty much forget them, especially if you have a store. You do have to kind of revamp them once in a while. And you should, I mean, if something's sitting for 6 months, you should, maybe think about taking new photos or refreshing it, because there's probably a reason. But you get, I think it's 50 free listings a month. And then if you have a store, you do have a store fee. There's a different tiers. I think they just put in a lower tiered store too.
I think so. I'm at the one where you have 1,000 listings a month.
I think I'm at the
Premier, I think.
level. Yeah, I think I'm in the same level too. So you get a certain amount. You do pay monthly, but you are saving money if you have a store. So, so you do have to pay fees up front. And the other thing is, you pay less than the standard commission on each item that you sell too. There is a commission, but different categories have different commissions. It's not like a set fee like some other platforms. And there's a lot of options for shipping. You can do your own shipping. So those are some of the pros. Do you have any other pros that I'm missing?
I mean, the shipping discounts are pretty good. I find I don't even bother looking at Pirate Ship anymore. I just do everything through eBay labels. And they're new that eBay international shipping is, I just had actually a couple of 2 different sales go to Korea this past week. And it was about $3 or $4 cheaper than first class mail using the eBay shipping.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I agree with that. I do like, so GSP, there's been a lot of talk about that. A lot of people don't like it and a lot of buyers don't like it because, you're paying all the fees up front, and sometimes things kind of slip through the cracks in customs. This way you're definitely going to pay the top customs fees. That's it. But on the other hand, the buyer's getting, more, of a guarantee of their item getting there. The seller's getting a guarantee. They do have your back on things. So with more expensive items, I will still use GSP.
Yeah, me too.
So I like that's kind of a backup for expense. If I'm selling, I have a $1,600 piece of art in my store that hasn't sold yet. But if it sells to someone in Japan, it's going GSP.
Right.
And
they're going to be okay paying $210 as opposed to $95. You know what I mean? At some point you really want the thing and you're already spending money.
Yes.
And I mean, you might also be charged customs anyway.
Exactly. So but the new one is nice, the eBay International. Now I do have one that I think I might have to open a claim with. I keep talking about this, but the buyer's still being patient, but I'm going to have to refund them probably. So if the package doesn't get there in a certain amount of time, and with the pandemic, things have been later, they will, or if something happens, you have to refund the customer first and then open a claim, and you will get reimbursed with the eBay Internationals.
That's all right.
Yeah, so it's a nice service. It is less than first class. However, for less expensive items, I've started to use Pirate Ship because it's even cheaper, especially for Canada. It's like $11, $14 for Canada, and I think 17 or so. Jason's going to correct me if he's listening, because he knows the price, because I just started using Pirate Ship recently. Okay. But it is cheaper for and with the pandemic, you might want the extra security right now because things are taking longer. But I've started to ship some international through Pirate Ship, and you do save a lot of money. So
that's a good tip. I've stopped checking them, but maybe for international I will.
You have to get the simple export rate. You have to ask for that.
I'm going to make a note of that. Thank you.
Yeah. So once you have that, I mean, especially for our Canadian buyers, it is so much cheaper for them. And for regular international, I mean, you can ship for it's less than anything I've seen anywhere. So
valuable piece of information. Thank you.
So some of the cons, I think one of the things that still gets me is, slow or non-paying buyers. It's still, to me personally, I think like at every other platform, they should figure it out, and it should be where you buy something, you pay,
once everybody's on managed payments,
I think it'll be like that, won't it?
Yeah, I hope. And I kind of feel like I've heard some execs on something kind of insinuate that. I can't claim exactly who, but I feel like I've heard that. Be patient. In time, that will be a thing. Non-paying buyers will be a thing of the past. So let's see.
Yeah, I think that'll eventually go. So Pirate Ship is still cheaper on everything under
good. All right.
£4 is the because that's where the first class international, that's the weight limit on that. So
Okay, that's
yeah.
great.
So I do, and you know what, with the non-payers, it happens. Sometimes if someone contacts me and they ask to cancel, I will just cancel rather than, cancel, relist, move on.
Exactly.
Sometimes, if somebody's slow to pay or they don't pay, do the automatic cases. I open them up automatically. The item is relisted, your fees are refunded, and that's that. However, PayPal, unfortunately, does not reimburse.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like on a $20 item, if I sold an $800 item, I wouldn't be so happy with that. But, that's where managed payments is going to come in. There are a lot of changes with eBay, but you kind of, like we talked about in one of our a couple episodes ago, you just have to kind of roll with punches, You have to take returns. That's another thing. But you just have to factor that into the cost of doing business. If you say no returns, you can still get a return forced on you. So just take the returns, And
it's not, it's, when people are just sell on eBay, they find that anything that's negative with eBay, they're like, oh my God, eBay is terrible. But the truth is I think another benefit of selling on multiple platforms is that you realize, like, oh, it's not just this platform I started with that's evil and trying to screw me. It's normal. There's business policies for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so taking returns on eBay, it's a normal thing. On Amazon, you can buy, send back a brand new video game that's been factory sealed, open it, you sell it for $120. You know what? Amazon debits your account and credits the buyer without, eBay is not evil. eBay is not unique in refunding customers. It's just a normal practice. And I think you realize that, when you sell on multiple platforms, that there's just the way e-commerce is.
Exactly.
I haven't had a problem yet with Mercari, but I'm sure Mercari, if somebody opens up, gets within 3 days, gets your package and they hate it or something's wrong with it, Mercari will make you do right by the customer.
Absolutely. Yeah. So even Poshmark too, they can open a claim if there's something, if you do something wrong yourself, and sometimes, buyers, there are scammers, but they're so few and far between that for the most part, buyers are good. And
most people are good. Just like, Piero Omidyar said, most people are good. Most people just want their product,
Exactly. So I think one of the other drawbacks of eBay is that it does. So once you list it, you can kind of list it and forget it, but it takes longer than to list an item on other platforms, especially with the extensive item specifics that you have to fill out. Sometimes, I say this, I feel like I'm back in school taking a quiz. Every time I fill out all the item specifics, I feel like I'm taking a quiz. It's like, multiple choices. This one, it's crazy because there are so many. And I think, eBay was kind of built, it's an older platform and they keep adding things and all. But those item specifics, even though they can be a nuisance, they do get you bumped in search. They do help people find your items. Those are the keyword, people type in keywords, they will find. And when they drill down and do an advanced search, they're not going to find your item if you don't fill those out. So you definitely want to do that, even though it can be a little annoying. The monthly costs, I do kind of like it that on other platforms, the fees are taken out up front, because you can get hit hard and those bills creep up on you,
But with managed payments, that will be a thing of the past.
Okay, so
I actually just got my email. I'm going to be on board in the next couple of weeks, but my understanding is that the fees will be taken out. I think the only things that will be on your monthly bill will be things like your store subscription charge. Okay. I don't know what will happen if you buy like a FedEx label. I'm guessing, but I don't know. Anyway, I think the bill will be more manageable.
International is like that too. They add it. They don't take the fees out up front. They tack it to your bill. So I wouldn't have to be doing that. So that should help. Now you have to budget. You have to treat it like a business and you have to budget. I've been guilty of that before where I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this huge bill that crept up on me. Now I've got to pay, and you have to kind of scramble, but it shouldn't, you should always budget and have, you should act as though those fees are coming out, And what I've started to do is pay my bill in chunks, like throughout the month. Like I'll pay it. Yeah, I'll give, I'll pay like, $50 here, and so that it's not one huge amount.
Right.
So shipping can be complicated, and there's no real negotiated USPS rate like other platforms. And there is quite a learning curve for new sellers, I have to say, in the platform in general, but also with shipping. That's a huge thing, where other platforms, you just click and choose a shipping, and it's like, Poshmark, everything is one flat fee, and it's so much easier. But once you learn it, it is it's not that bad. So you just need your postal scale, and it's not easy to add a video. That's one of my little complaints.
You don't use the I'm trying to think, was it Flipper Tools that has the code generator? I think it's Flipper Tools, but you go in and you just basically paste your YouTube. So it's not okay. So you do have to make the video, upload it to YouTube, go into Flipper Tools or whatever it is, and go into HTML, right? So it's not as straightforward.
Yeah, like in Depop, they have the first thing is that you can just add a video. It's just a button that you click.
Etsy now has that too. It's new in Etsy. I think maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of platforms are moving towards that. I hope that eBay puts that option in soon too. But that is kind of a pain. But I think maintaining TRS can be really tough. They do have stringent requirements. Like Poshmark Ambassador is much more easy and to maintain. I don't think Mercari has anything like that, do they, or Etsy?
No, not. I'm trying to think. There's nothing. No, I don't. I think that on Etsy, that might be store owners. Sometimes people are talking about getting some like Etsy branded tape. So there's some like, I don't really care, but there's might be some perks, and I don't know who gets that. I don't know if it's sellers at a certain volume or their store people that subscribe to their stores or what. But that is not like a top rated seller discount as far as I know. Ed
says he loves pirate ship. I have really, since Jason finally got me to use it, I do say that it is great. It is pretty cool. And I use it for my personal packages too, because I get a discount on those too. So I'm sending something to my friend in California or whatever, I get a good rate on it. So so I think
and I use it all the time for my Mercari sales, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
That's how I use.
Okay, so that's a good thing to talk. Okay, so negative feedback can impact you, and it does last a whole year. And it's like Murphy's Law. When you get one, you're going to get another one. I had 2 back to back, totally out of my control. They had to do with post office and shipping, and things that were completely out of my control. But you respond to the negative feedback professionally. You move on. People will still buy from you because there's only like one little red dot in a sea of green, and wait it out. Mine fell off. I don't want to jinx myself, and but mine fell off, and I have 100% feedback again. And you know what? I survived. So it happens.
And learn from it too. I mean, occasionally it could be something maybe you didn't pack it as best you could. You did the best you thought but anyway, still try to like learn from it.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Do you have any other cons or drawbacks that you want to add for eBay?
I think the pro for me for eBay is I just love eBay because it's how I got started. I really love the community with eBay. So I think that's also kind of an awesome thing. I don't know. For me, there isn't. I know there's a little bit of an Etsy community. I don't really feel like I don't feel part of that community, but I know something exists there. I don't think there really is anything with Mercari. I know that Amazon sellers are very competitive, so there'll be Amazon conferences and stuff, but it's not the same camaraderie that I feel
like Amazon is kind of like the cold, distant cousin that doesn't, doesn't like to, I don't know. It's I do love the eBay community too. I've made so many of my real life friends, my best friends, look at Jason and Lola, and I'm real life friends with you. And, so many people that, Christine in the chat, so many people that, I wouldn't know. And they're my real life friends. They're not just people that I know from online, It's like, they are my real friends. So, it is a great community, and I do have to agree. And for the most part, people are not competitive. If you need help, the eBay community, they're not going to, they'll help. They'll tell you their honey holes. They'll, if somebody's in the area, they'll be like, oh, you have to check out this. They're not worried about you taking their, their items and
niche or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, everybody knows there's plenty to go around, and for the most part, people are very helpful. So I'm going to talk about Poshmark. You don't sell on Poshmark, correct?
No, I have an account, never used it, but maybe I'll learn something. I'm going to take out my little post-it note and jot down some notes.
Okay, so for the most part, so I was not selling on. It's been, I guess, about 2 years now that I've been selling on Poshmark. So I absolutely love it. So I was not selling on. Like I said, I was just selling on eBay. Poshmark was the second platform that I branched out to. So the vibe of Poshmark is it is very social media like. It's friendlier. It's friendly to a point. I mean, it's a different crowd. Like a lot of women, but there are men getting into it now too. There's a lot of men's fashion now too. So it's definitely evolving. More trendy and high fashion. So it's kind of like right up my alley because, like Lola and I are both we love fashion. I know my brands. I know what, I know what, and after a while you kind of figure out what's going to sell on Poshmark versus other platforms. So it's really, you have those high end items, the branded items, the trendy items, like how fanny packs came back in and they're still in, but for a while there, they were like the thing and they were going like hotcakes on Poshmark. So things like that, like trends are what, so I do love Poshmark, but there are some pros and cons to that too. So I would say my biggest pros are there's no cost to list and it's so easy to list. It is so easy. Like you don't have to take a quiz to like in eBay. You just, pretty much like it's just a few selections, you just upload your photos, short description, and bam, you have your item listed. There's a lot of selling features. You can offer discounts when people buy multiple items, offer private discounts to people, send offers, share your items directly to people. So there is a lot of that. They do offer free authentication on luxury items that are $500 or more. So I have had a couple bags that I've had up for that much. I think the most expensive one I sold was like $350. So it didn't get the authentication, but I knew it was real and it was fine. But
what's great about that is if you're cross-posting, once you get it authenticated on Poshmark, you could go onto eBay and be like, feel confident it's the real thing.
I think the way they do it though is that once the person purchases, it goes to the authentication first. Oh, and then they authenticate it, and if it's not real, they'll cancel the sale and send it back. If it is, then it goes on to the. So so I think that's how it actually works. But it would be nice if it worked that way. But I will talk about something that does work that way in a little bit. So it gives buyers more confidence to make those big purchases they wouldn't otherwise risk. So I think, if I do come across a genuine Louis Vuitton sometime, which I'm hoping I would, but I would, and I'm selling it for more than 500. That's also, a lot of stress off of the seller too. You don't have to worry that someone's going to claim that it wasn't authentic when it was, and that you're going to get, you're going to get it sent back or a claim opened or whatever. So that's a nice thing. They do have simplified shipping. That's another thing. All the items are shipped using priority mail. So
you have to use their shipping. You can't say, I can
use their shipping, because if you don't use their shipping, you won't get paid.
Oh.
Because the shipping is the way, their shipping is the way. Once it's received, if the buyer does have the option to accept it and rate you, but if they don't, after 4 days, you'll get your funds released. But that is your proof that you sent it, and the only way to get your funds released. So if you don't send it through Poshmark, you're not gonna get your money. So that's a problem. Yeah, there's no way to upload.
After the 4 days, if somebody is on vacation, they get it delivered. They've received it within 4 days. It's been scanned in, but they don't open it until 8 days later and hate it or have a problem. Can they return it, or it's a closed?
Nope. There's no return after if they have, and there's no returns for fit for I changed my mind. There's none of that. You have to have a real thing, like it has a big stain on the front of it that wasn't disclosed.
Oh, okay.
There has to be something really wrong with it. I did have a buyer open a claim. I talked about it on the show for a bag. I sold the bag for $85, and she I had this bag. Now I am very sensitive to cigarette smoke odors. I'm allergic to it. And I noticed that, there's an overpowering cigarette smell. I'll notice it. So I had this bag stored in a Rubbermaid tub. The thrift store I got it from was a higher end thrift store, kind of more of like a consignment shop. And I did pay up for the bag a little bit. I know that it did not have any odors. It was like pristine clean, and it went right in the tub. So she got it, and she said that it's reeked of cigarette smoke, which it was a bogus claim. I knew it was. I don't want to, but I said the only thing I said was, well, the carrier must have been smoking or something, because I know that I did not send it out, with it, because I'm sensitive to. Long story short, Poshmark did rule in my favor.
Oh, yeah.
So, and she is now reselling the bag and hasn't mentioned nothing about the smoke odor.
That is funny
enough. Yes. So, she just, so she was trying to, now if that had been on eBay, I would have had a return, and it wouldn't have been I wouldn't have had to go through the hassle of, because it does take several days. Poshmark is slow with those cases. You have to go round and round and reply to the case, and they reply. And it's just like, so
how often do you, it's rare. It sounds like that you have.
Doesn't happen often. It's really rare, but when I think it's happened to me twice or 2 or 3 times over the 2 years. Yeah. So it's really not bad, but, and in one case I did miss a flaw on an item, and I did say, you know what, I told Poshmark, I said, you know what, I will take the return. That's fine. And I took the return, no problem. And, but in this case, I knew that I hadn't. So if it had been an eBay sale, though, I wouldn't have had so I'm kind of mixed about the no returns things, because I think it does encourage buyers to open up those claims, because, if they had buyer's remorse or whatever, they're going to try to get around that.
I don't know. I mean, so just, I don't want to totally get off track, but I offer free returns. I've had 2 returns, and one is, I just refunded it. It was a small thing. Anyway, I can't even, I mean, that's 2 returns out of, let's say, 600 sales. Yeah. I don't even know. It's something like that. So I don't sell a lot of clothing. So and it does happen a lot with clothing, and Poshmark is very fashion, oriented. So I do suggest you put measurements. Always, I put measurements in. So that's something you always have to put every measurement in. And people will still ask you for measurements, and because they don't read, but I always put them in there. And that does cover you too. If they do open some claim that your measurements were off, it's really this size, you can say, hey, the measurements were right there. So, but for the most part, I kind of like the no returns policy, but then again, I kind of wish they would just allow it, because it would cut down on the cases open. I think it might bring in more buyers, because they'll feel confident that if they make a purchase, that it's not their final purchase. But a lot of buyers are also sellers, and they reposh items. So that's another thing, and I would do that too. I'm a seller. So if I bought something and it didn't fit or whatever, I would just resell it. So now, can I ask, is it just like clothes, shoes, and accessories?
No, you can sell home goods now. You can sell breakables. You can sell, they just added body type items, like personal care type items. That used to be a no-no. The only things I think you can't sell are like electronics.
But what about things like DVDs or vinyl or books?
No, unless it's like a home goods item, like home decor, like a book that you would use for staging something, or something like that. So you can kind of get around it that way. But for the most part, it's but they have a lot more categories now. You could sell tiki mugs on there. You can sell pretty much anything, and it is men's clothing, women's clothing, kids clothes. So so there's a lot more that you can sell now. I do think that the home goods are more like branded home goods, trendy home goods. Like, you're going to sell that Ralph Lauren shower curtain that's packaged new, on there more. Okay. More so than that, vintage mid-century, tray that you had, so I think it's more that would be more of an eBay item.
Okay.
So there is simplified shipping, to get back to that. So what it is, Poshmark provides a shipping label. You have to go through them. Anything under 5 pounds ships for a flat rate of $7.11. So there's no hassling over shipping costs unless you sell something heavier. And then I think I haven't ever sold anything over 5 pounds, but then like they have an additional rate that they add per pound. I don't know.
Do you pay that, or does the buyer pay that? Or
well, if they don't make an offer, the buyer pays the full shipping. The good thing about this is that it does encourage bundles. It encourages people to buy more than one item from a buyer because, because they're going to pay for 5 pounds. They're going to pay 7-11 whether they buy 3 items or 1 item. So it does encourage that. But I do think that it's some people too, like they won't just like, if they're going to just buy like one little thing from you, they're not going to want to pay $7.11 because there's no first class. But if you make an offer, you have to give a shipping discount. So you either have to give free shipping or you have to give shipping for $4.99, which is like a $3 or $2 and something discount. So you have to give a discount if you make an offer. That's just how it is.
Let me ask you, maybe when you first started, is this, so if I go, I'm getting a little bit of an education now, we all are from you. If I go and sign up, and really try to list stuff, will it be obvious, like as I'm filling out the form, that I'm doing it right, or do I need to really?
It's so easy.
Okay.
It is so easy to list. I mean, you can do it from your phone. The app works so much easier. It's literally like brand, size, maybe there's a couple of style things, and your price. Now, the one thing is, and I think this is kind of carried over is you have to add the original price on it. It was originally started for like people that are selling out of their own closets. So it's basically like what you paid for it. I'll just put 0 in there a lot of times, unless it has a new with tags. It's a new with tags item but I think that's one of the things that's kind of annoying because there's no way to verify that. And, it's kind of a silly thing, but so anyway, fast payout, you do get your payment is processed immediately when a buyer purchases the item. But once the buyer receives the item, they have 3 days to accept the item, or it's automatically accepted on the 4th day. Or if they accept it right away, and a lot of people don't, and they leave you a review, your funds are automatically released. So it is a little bit of a wait, but if you're selling a lot of items on a regular basis, you'll get payouts every day. So you can cash out and receive your money. And then it does take a little bit of time to hit your bank, depending on what bank you have, or you can use it for credit and purchase items.
That sounds just like Mercari, everything there. The wait time.
Very similar, yes. So you can promote your items easily on social media. They do make it easy to share your items, and they're very social media oriented themselves. So very close knit with Instagram, and they encourage you to share your items on different platforms. Only good feedback is shown, and the ratings and negative comments are not public. So if you get bad feedback they're called love notes, it won't be shown publicly. So it doesn't affect you as much unless you get a lot of them. So, and you can, once you achieve Posh ambassador status, I'm an ambassador, which there's a certain criteria you have to meet. It's all in the metrics are all listed there. It's much easier to maintain and achieve than TRS. So once you become your closet is recommended to more people, you get more followers, a boost in search, and different perks, like you get first dibs on PoshFest tickets and stuff like that. So that's a nice program.
PoshFest, is that like eBay open?
It's the same thing. Yes, they have now this year. Obviously, they're not having it but yeah, they do have that. They have Posh and Sips too that are more like the eBay meetups, that kind of thing. I went to a local one that was sponsored by Poshmark. It's more of like a social thing to meet other sellers, but but the Posh Fest is I would love to attend one post COVID. And they do allow 16 photos now, which is really nice. And they now have a list similar option, which is nice. So some of the cons, just to go through these fast, they're not international. There is a Canadian Poshmark, but you can't sell from Canada to the US or vice versa unless you're using like a third-party shipper and having it sent to a US address and then forwarded it to Canada. So which really stinks. I hope they do go international eventually. There is a high commission. They do take 20% on all of your sales of $15 or more. Sales under 15 or I think it's actually under 10, have a $2.95 commission. So And when you make an offer, you have to offer a shipping discount or free shipping. And basically, like for me, unless I'm really trying to clear out something, it doesn't make sense to sell anything under $10. But that's just me. I see a lot of people selling $5 items and they're making like $2. I don't know how they're doing that, but it is time consuming. You have to put a lot of time into it to make the sales. Not just listing, but sharing the items. You have to share. There is a whole learning curve to that. So that can be a little tedious. If you break down your profit into dollars per hour, listing the items and then sharing them, you may make very little per hour. So you have to really think about that. You can hire a virtual assistant. There's a lot of VAs out there who just do the sharing and the following and all of that. I have done that for a week or two at a time, especially when they're offering a good rate. And it does help. It is great, but it can get costly. So that's something, but if you're a high volume seller, that they're all doing that. They're not using bots. That's illegal, but a virtual assistant is okay. That's just somebody else sharing your items and following and so that is acceptable. But if you have, for me to share my entire closet, I have like over 500 items. It takes, and they suggest you do that like 2 to 3 times a day. It's like over an hour every time I do my whole closet. So you
have to share your entire closet or
every item by item. Yes. That's how and then you have to share others and and then they have parties. There's a learning curve and it is a lot of maintenance. So
you can't really, I couldn't just list the like 15 pieces of clothing up that I have and not do anything and expect anything to sell.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically you might get a sale.
Like one sale or once. Okay.
Yeah, if you want consistent sales, you have to maintain that. So, and then there's the market's kind of flooded with a lot of boutique and wholesale items, which is kind of a downside. Since the wholesale portal opened, they're really pushing that, and the marketplace has been kind of flooded with that. So and I think Etsy is going to start doing that too. So that's kind of what
are they going to do? Sorry.
Like a lot of wholesale and boutique items. So like in other words, a lot of like, items from China and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's no way to post a video, no image rotation, no photo editing in the app. So the app still needs some work. There's no immediate customer service. It's email only, and it can take a couple business days for Poshmark to get back to you. And sometimes it's like a generic reply, and then you have to like reply again. So sometimes it can take, like that case that I had open took, I would say, a good 4 or 5 days to resolve. And of course, my money was sitting in limbo during all that time. So, and then there's no private messaging. It's public comments only. So you have to comment on your item. And even the bundle comments, which is like the kind of way to skirt around that, you still see them. You can still see them publicly. So there's really no. So those are kind of the downsides. But
overall, you like it with it? Like
I do like it. And I made it sound like, oh God, it's really like Jason just said, too much work. It's really not. Once you get the learning curve and once you get going, it's not for the payout. If you once you get going to that level, and you're making the money, it's not, because I will sell items on Poshmark for double, triple sometimes what I can sell on other platforms, because there's certain brands. And so it's really, once you get going, it's just it is maintenance, and getting started up takes a while. But
so would you say overall, it's not like, people that are going there aren't necessarily looking for something cheap. They're looking for something trendy and cool. Like
a lot of people are, yeah. There are people that are the lower, you'll get low balls, on every platform. Right. Yeah, it's a lot of people will pay up. They'll pay for that Louis Vuitton purse or that Henri. I sold an Henri Bendel bag that I found in a thrift store. I sold it for $350. So I've sold a Fendi bag that I found in the bins. I've sold Gucci. I've sold Prada. I've sold all of those high-end brands. They sell really well there.
And I saw Jason's comment about how he's bought tiki mugs to flip on eBay. I think it's a great tip for any of these. So any site that you're not selling on, like for Posh right now, it doesn't. But I think I'm not sure I'm ready to sell on it, but I think I'm going to start snooping around and seeing if I can pick anything up cheap to do what Jason has done. But yeah, I think I lost my train of thought with that. But anyway, it's a good tip on that to. Even if you don't want to sell, maybe you can buy.
Yeah. And I'm going to speed up. I'm going to try to speed things along a little bit more here. Sorry, I see it's already 1:30 and you have to, Anastasia has to take her cat to the vet today. So
not just the regular vet, the ophthalmologist.
Oh my, I didn't know there was a veterinarian ophthalmologist. See, that's Wow.
It's great. I mean, it's awesome, and they're great. And hopefully her eye is healed. But this place, it does oncology, ophthalmology,
Wow.
and dermatology.
Awesome. So cool.
Our furry friends are taken care of.
So that's great.
This is what I was going to ask. Sorry, no, we're moving on. But with Jason's comment, do you feel like, so the people that list tiki mugs or that whatever, not clothes on there, do you think that there are people that list clothes usually and be like, oh God, I have these things, these mugs, I don't really like them, I'm going to sell them cheap? Like, do you think you can get good bargains for certain types of things on Poshmark?
Some people, yes, and that's exactly what happened, because I know the story with his tiki mugs. They were worth a lot more than than the person was selling them for, and he got a bundle deal on them, and she sold them really cheap to him. So and if he had bought them on eBay or another platform, it would have been for a lot more. And like, yeah, so he was able to. So yeah, definitely that is a good tip to look for things like that. Not also, there are sellers that just do home goods now. That's all they do.
You can't be like non-clothing. You might get bargains. It's just, you have to just know what you're looking for.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah. So I would say yes. So moving on to Mercari. So I think the vibe.
No, she's not getting bifocals. She's going to get those cool transition lenses.
So funny. So everything can be listed kind of like a smaller and less formal eBay, I would think. Would you agree?
Yeah. And also, I mean, I think there's a lot of professional sellers. There's two right here. But it's also a little bit, I think it's a hybrid, I'd say, between eBay with like professional sellers and also things like OfferUp and those where people are just literally cleaning their house or be like, holy shit, I need to raise $500. Let me sell random video games in my house. I think, so
it's kind of a mix, but it's a good platform. I think it's a little less refined than other platforms. But excuse me. You said it's kind of a younger audience too. You feel like?
I feel like it is. I feel like I sell generally my new items sell better than my vintage items. Things that I think younger people like sell better there than, I list everything. Everything's free to list. So I'll list everything, even if it's a random, toy from 1930s. I don't think it's the main market, but you never know.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the pros are, there's a low commission. It's 10%, right? There's no listing fee, 10% flat rate that they take.
Right. And that includes the creded card processing and stuff.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good deal. I mean, that's a pretty low rate compared. And you can ship with Mercari or your own with something like Pirate Ship. That's what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying? Okay. It is free and easy to list items. It's super easy to list. They have improved a lot there. Some of the recent upgrades include that you can do now 12 pictures like eBay, automatically fix the lighting of your pictures, select a bunch of pictures to list at once. You can move the pictures around and take long versus square pictures. Private messaging is a feature. And you can list just about anything, and there's a small return window. It's 3 days, right?
Yeah.
So,
and you can send offers out to people who like your item. You can do little sales on any item.
Yes.
You can accept offers. So it has, some of those kind of marketing.
There's a promote feature where you can promote your item either to, like send an offer to likers pretty much, or promote it and lower the price. And then you can do like an automatic thing where they will lower every so often, they'll lower your price.
Right. I forgot what they're
Yeah, so there's different options there, which is kind of nice. The cons are it is not international, correct?
I don't think I've never had an international sale, but I think
don't think it is. And
it's a Japanese company, I believe, but it's like
there's like a Japan Mercari. There's I think there's a Canadian one, but it's like just for Canada.
Yeah.
So, I hope they do go international, but when you search for an item, it shows both available and sold listings. Like you can't really search for the solds like you can on.
You can, but it's weird. You have to check a box, and sometimes it's like if you go back, sometimes it doesn't stick. So it's
okay.
You can refine things by like. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, and you can't easily search your own listings on mobile, if I'm correct. You have to scroll through all your listings and then do like the Control F feature, I think.
I found a couple of ways you can go back into your items that you've sold, and you can do search by a keyword.
Okay, so there's ways to get around it, but if you don't know, like it can be a little more cumbersome.
Yeah, and it's hard for me, for instance, like going between eBay platform, like desktop and mobile. Obviously, mobile has like less features, but you can still kind of work your way around. Mercari desktop is like very hard for me to.
Yeah, I only use the app. I only have used the app, so I really don't know. And I think a lot of these, like Poshmark too, and Depop, the not for eBay, but for the other platforms, the app was designed first, and then the desktop was kind of an afterthought. So I think the app is more efficient,
like robust, kind of. Yeah.
Yes. Payment processing can be slow, so your funds are held until you and the buyer rate each other, which is recommended but not required, within 48 hours of the item's delivery. If the buyer doesn't rate you, you have to wait a few days for Mercari to automatically release your funds. So that can be a little slow. It takes 5 business days to receive your money when you ask to transfer your funds. And if you want it done for free, if not, there's a new option for instant pay, but then you have to, you can transfer up to $500 a month in a few minutes, but then there's a $2 fee for every transaction. So if it's a $10 item, you might not want to pay it. So, but for a more expensive item, you might want to pay that extra fee. And then customer service is email only.
I've only had to use it once, and it was fine. I had to, I forgot to upload a tracking number. Okay. And I showed the thing was delivered, and I said, why aren't I not getting paid? And they said, well, you never did the tracking number. And I said, well, here it is. Anyway, they credited it. They were fine. They're pleasant and efficient.
Do you have anything to add about Mercari?
No, I would just do it. I mean, I would list. I probably sell, close to, and I've sold them almost a year now, about 10 months. Okay. I probably sell an average of 10 items a month for about $20 a piece.
Yeah, I don't I don't sell as much as I do on other platforms on Mercari, but I also don't list as much. So I think if I increase that, I would be probably.
And we'll get to it later. I use a cross listing service, so it's really easy.
That in a little bit, yeah.
I would list it. I've sold things for as expensive as about $150, and I sold things for like $10. And I would say on average, this average sales price is 20, maybe 17, something like that. But it just moves inventory that doesn't sell otherwise. So.
Yeah. So, and it's one of the easiest platforms to jump into. So I would suggest just jump in.
Yeah.
And also, so Etsy, we're going to talk a little bit about that. That's more artsy, crafty, specialty, unique, handcrafted, vintage items, things like that. And it is very easy to list. There's a great audience there that's okay with a lot of times okay with paying higher prices for certain items that they're looking for in those niches. And it's perfect for vintage and handmade and craft items, sewing patterns, all that stuff.
It feels, another vibe I would put up there is like kind of hipsterish. Like that's
that's a good. Yeah, that's a good term. Yeah, that's
And so hence, a thing you might sell on eBay for $20. If you market it and take photos in a way that's like cool, you might sell for $45 or whatever. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So so it's a little artsier. You can get a little creative.
But I will say this: I'm not particularly artsy or like really like. That's not my whole scene, but I do well on Etsy. It's not crazy. So if you don't feel like you are really artsy, crafty, hipsterish, cool, whatever, you can still sell. So don't be totally freaked out if you're, Oh, I'm frozen. I don't know. Am I frozen? Can anybody hear me? Because I am maybe frozen. I think we lost Nadine. Can you guys hear me? Can I have somebody in chat just let me know if you can hear me? Oh, hang on. Okay, so Nadine's computer crashed So she's going to be back with us in a minute, but I'll just continue talking about Etsy. So I've been selling on Etsy for about a year. And again, I use a cross-listing service. So it's pretty easy. It's very similar to eBay. Let me just go back to Mercari for 1 second. One thing with Mercari, in the title, it's a lot shorter. I think it's something like 60 characters. So that's also a big difference between eBay and Mercari. But anyway, Etsy, you can have a really long title. So that's a little different. You can upload video now directly to Etsy. I don't think there's any sound. I haven't done it yet, but you can do a video of your item for about 20 seconds. The big difference is you have to add tags, or I don't know if you have to, but it's recommended. Those are just basically keywords. Hey, Nadine's back.
Yeah,
just talking about Etsy.
I have a brand new computer, right? And for some reason, it locked up for the first time ever, right in the middle of the show.
Wonderful. Well, we kept on going a little bit.
It has never crashed before. So, I mean, it's literally brand spanking new. I've only had it for like a month or two. And it just decided to lock up for the first time in the middle of the show. So
wonderful. Well,
it crashed and restarted itself, and now we're back. So,
welcome. So I was just saying that Etsy's very similar, I think, in the listing process to eBay. Mm-hmm. The title can be longer. You can also add video directly. The big difference, there's not really too many item specifics. There's a couple of things that are like item specifics, but it's literally like the color of the item, the size in certain categories, the age. But the big thing I think is the tags, the keywords, which you don't have to use. There's 13, I believe. It's recommended that you do. I don't stress about it too much. I basically either copy, repeat words that are in my title or phrases that are in my title.
Right.
And if there's stuff, even like I was listing some like vintage puzzles and stuff, really, back in like April. After I ran out of keywords, I would do stuff like, I ended up probably spamming, but put things like pandemic, stay at home activity. I just made up fillers to fill the space.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
so I would say, so you can look at it as a con or a pro. In terms of the listing fee, it's 20 cents, so like per session, and
right, yeah,
stays alive for 4 months for 20 cents.
Yeah, that's not bad. And then there's a transaction fee on top of that, right?
Yeah,
5% transaction fee, I think.
And then the payment processing fee.
So
it's pretty comparable, I would say, to eBay in terms overall.
Yeah, I think Poshmark so far is like they take the biggest chunk, but you can also sell things for more on there. So
I will say also, there's been tons of Etsy commercials, at least here in South Florida,
I've seen some too. Yeah. There's some catchy tune on one of them now that every time it comes on, my kids will like sing it, and I'm like, yeah.
The catchy tune we have here is $5 foot long. I know we always are singing that song, the Subway one. Anyway,
I think that's so no, Henry, my laptop is in Mac. It's a brand new MacBook Air. So
wow,
not a PC.
You paid good money for that puppy.
I did. I don't know why that decided to just shut itself down, and then it had
a one-time thing.
Report the error. Your Mac shut out down on. Is a problem. I don't know what the problem was, but anyway, so Depop.
Just the one thing with Etsy. Sorry, just the sales can be slow.
More like Etsy, but more young, more Y2K. A lot of urban wear, streetwear kind of thing. A bit more social media, but not as intense as Posh. So it's kind of like a little bit, but it's very artsy, young, specialty, unique, streetwear, vintage, and a lot of Y2K. A lot of young buyers on there. A lot of them. So the pros are it's easy to list, super easy to add a video. Like they have a video button. That's your first thing. But you're only allowed 4 photos. It's young, laid back, friendly audience. I mean, my buyers have all been super laid back, just kind of, I can tell they're young and they're just perfect for vintage and trendy, artsy, funky items. International it is. It started in the UK. And it is international. A lot of UK buyers on there. It's easy to share on social media. They have everything integrated with like an easy button for Instagram, where it actually will take like a snapshot of 4 items that you can pick from your store, and it'll make this nice little collage that you can easily share to Instagram.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. There's no fee to list, nice negotiated USPS rates, but you can use your own shipping, and you must use your own international shipping. So I use Pirate Ship. Depop charges a 10% flat fee on every item sold, like Mercari. So
it sounds like it's a cooler Mercari, definitely younger, cooler international, well, at least UK international Mercari.
Yeah. So some of the cons, I think, are there's a lot of young people who can sometimes have limited funds or are looking for like a really big bargain. You know, the app has a long way to go in terms of development. For example, like the list of brands is really lacking. You can't add in your own brand, and they don't have a very extensive list of brands. So you can't list everything. It's mostly fashion related. They really push for the fashion stuff. And sales do tend to be slower. You know, I don't sell as much on Depop as I do on other platforms, but when I do get a sale, it's, you know, it's a nice surprise, a nice little supplemental thing. And so yeah, it's easy. I would suggest, you know, just that's another one that you can easily just dive right into. So, and then Amazon, mostly new items. I would say it's not a personal feel. It's more of a big box feel. I think some of the pros are you don't have the use space to store your inventory. That would be a big thing for me. I think it's hard to get ungated. There's high fees, there's no real customer service, right? Or you don't have personal contact with buyers or anything like that. And I think there's a lot of competition. You said it's like a race to the bottom.
Right. And I think that also, so if people complain about, oh my God, eBay has so many rules, eBay's trying to kill me, they're terrible. eBay is nothing compared to Amazon. You could be a multi-million dollar seller, unit seller on Amazon, and a couple of things go wrong that really aren't out of your control. You can be shut down. Like there's not any. It's not warm and friendly. There's no. It's not. They don't
cuddle, and it's not a hug.
There's no like nice Brian Burke that's going to talk to you and help you. You know, there's not any. It's purely a for-profit business. I mean, so is eBay, but it's like no community, it's none of that. When you have to do it right, you have to play by their rules. Yeah. If you screw up, the way you kind of get out of suspensions is basically, even if you did everything right, you need to admit you are wrong. You will. It's like going. I don't know if anybody's Catholic, but like. It's like doing penance, you know.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I get it. It's not. Yeah. So very unforgiving.
Yeah.
So some other options. There's all kinds of new sites evolving. So I would definitely pay attention to that. There's sites like Ruby Lane, which is more of like artsy and high end art, and kind of. I do know it has $150 fee that you have to keep in your account to start with. I think it's 100 or 150, something like that. There's Curtsy that I just listed one item. It's like it's kind of like a Poshmark Junior. It's like and it started out with, you know, college kids, women. It's only women's clothing. There's Bonanza. There's a lot of them that I have not tried, but so, you know, keep your eyes and ears out, and it's always nice to try something new. And then there's, you know, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp. I do think that they are good for selling larger items. I sold recently a patio umbrella, a huge umbrella for $60. So we bought a new a set on Facebook Marketplace. It came with this old umbrella that was all faded. And that night I listed it on Facebook Marketplace. The guy came, paid $60, ordered a new one for $90 at Home Depot, and went and picked it up that same night. And basically paid $30 for the new umbrella for the set.
I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can do stuff like that. It is great for selling those bulkier, you know, furniture, stuff like that. But Facebook Marketplace is becoming friendlier to ship, and it's evolving. So, and Facebook also has groups that you can sell to for specialty or niche items. Craigslist is a little sketchy now. Like I've found a lot of no-shows on Craigslist. You know, just some, I think it's a little more sketchy, like as far as, you know, people doing nefarious things on especially in the big cities. But I have successfully sold. So I sold a bunk bed set on Craigslist. The couple came and they had to come to the house to get it because, they came, disassembled it, carried it out, paid me, and they were happy. So, so you can successfully do things like that. I don't usually like to have people come to my house, though. Usually it is nice to meet in a police station parking lot, or, a big box store parking lot or something like that. OfferUp is another one. I have not done a lot. I've listed things. I haven't sold things on OfferUp.
I did a while back, listed a couple things, never had a sale on that.
Yeah. So that's, do you want to add anything else about those platforms?
No, I mean, people sell on Instagram. I haven't, but that's another thing. Yeah. I just really would recommend people do it. One, you're going to make more money. Two, if something happens to your account or something happens to the marketplace itself, you have a little bit of pivot. You can pivot a little bit. You're not starting from scratch. So just do it. Especially, this is a great time with, before Q4 gets going.
Good advice. So, and then there's also Instagram. A lot of people, I know we had Stacy on, Stacy Faraci was on a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about, she sells kids clothes on Instagram and does great with it. So people do sell on Instagram. You can also promote and kind of sell your items, not necessarily by saying, hey, buy this, but if you advertise, people might reach out to you and you can sell directly through that. And then there's also send-in platforms like ThredUp and The Real World. So these are great too. It's like a consignment. You send the items in, they sell it for you. So it's great to purge inventory that way. They do take high cuts, especially ThredUp. And if you don't sell it all, or you either pay to get it back or it's donated, so you lose your money. And you can get credits to purchase. Real Real is great for higher end items because they do authenticate. And that's one thing where if you send it in and it's not real, they'll send it back to you. So that way, but you have to, but if you're sending it in for, to the Real, it's for very high end items. They have a list of items that they take. And it's good for those items. If you don't want to deal with the hassle of authenticating and listing yourself, you do get less profit, but you're paying for the convenience. So, and then, as far as cross listing, there's different services. Do you use List Perfectly? Is that the one?
Yeah, I do the $49 plan. It's fine. It pays for itself. Between the two, Etsy and Mercari, I probably, make about $500 a month. So it's about 10% of that. There's a cheaper one, but I've also heard about when I was first shopping around, I was thinking about cross list it. I don't remember why I didn't choose that. I think it's less expensive. And
there's one called Vendu.
Which is, you do it manually though, right?
I do. So there is Vendu. So I do it manually because I don't cross post everything. I'm kind of more selective. I save those really trendy kind of streetwear kind of items for Depop. With Etsy, I want to do my sewing patterns and things so there's items that I don't necessarily want to cross list. So I don't cross list everything. Poshmark, I do my higher end items, my branded items, those type of items. And then eBay is for other, and Mercari for everything else. However, there are things that I do cross list. And when I do it manually. But you have to be really careful if you do that. So that if you're cross listing everything, by all means, you should be using a third party service. And you have thousands of listings that you're cross listing, you're going to end up reselling something on another platform and making a mistake. You don't want that to happen. So what I do is, I very quickly, once I sell something, I know what I have cross-listed and I'll just take it down really quick and make sure. I have occasionally scrolled through my listings and been like, oh, that's sold on Poshmark. I need to get rid of that. So it is a little risky, but I do it that way just because I don't cross-list everything. I don't do it. So,
well, even so, with List Perfectly, I don't use the plan. I don't use the program in the way where I have to still manually go in. And delist stuff. But what I do is in my in the custom label field, eBay is still my main home ship kind of mothership kind of thing. So in the custom label field, I have where it's stored in my inventory system, and then I have, is it in Mercari? Where is it also? So that I just, you have to go in and delete it. But I mean, really, when things are rocking and rolling, I'm might sell 20, 25 items a day. It's okay. I can still, and that's my, if you're selling 100 items, hundreds of items a day, maybe you can't really go in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I would. But
if you're selling 5 items a day, go in. It's okay.
Yeah. So I will usually, since eBay is like a little more extensive with the listing and everything, I'll usually list on eBay first. If I'm cross listing, then I'll just copy the description and everything, and I have my photos already to another platform. I will sometimes, like if something sells on eBay, I'll mark it not for sale on Poshmark just to kind of hold it in place, because if you delete a listing on Poshmark, it's gone. You have to relist it.
Okay.
So I'll sometimes do that, just in case something gets returned, or whatever. But for the most part, it's I just manage it that way. So, and do your research on all platforms. Some items and brands will sell for more on one platform than the other, for sure. So I am going to skip our news segment today in the interest of time and go right to our market report. And let's see. So bear with me for 1 second. Oh, I didn't put our market report. Okay, I didn't put our market report art in there, but that's okay. We're going to do our market report now, so pretend that the art is there. All right, so Anastasia, you have your, this, sorry about that. So that's fine. I'm still on right now, so sorry about that. My dad.
Excellent.
Okay.
Keeping in mind.
So Anastasia, you sold, these are 2 Amazon sales that you have.
Right, FBA. And so some vintage does sell on Amazon. Lately, what I do send in are random things, like this is a VHS tapes sell, like Angela Lansbury's Positive Moves VHS videotape. I got it new sealed at a yard sale for 25 cents. Sent it in. It's probably been sitting in there for about, I would say, 4 or 5 months, and it sold for $59.90. Nice. And once everything's said and done, I'll probably get about $40. That's fine. Great return. The coffee mug is used, but nice condition. I actually bought that on Mercari, probably for about $8 with shipping included, maybe $10 with shipping included. Nice. And flipped it. Again, I will. So it sold for $55.13. I will probably get it also about $40 back. So
what's funny? I have that same exact mug, and I had it listed on Mercari for a while. I had it listed on eBay. It wouldn't sell. So I finally took it down. I'm using it, but
sell it. Send it on into, I don't know if it's worth it.
I'm not. Yeah, I've never sold anything on Amazon, but
anyway. So
interesting. So that just goes to show how sometimes things will sell on other platforms. But
yeah.
And then you had this item.
Yeah, this item is from my wife's grandfather passed away, and my mother-in-law was going through some stuff, and he had a little old metal tool chest filled with old razors.
Oh,
like, are these worth anything? So I looked them up. I'm like, yeah, I know I've sold razors in the past. This went for an auction. What did it sell for? $136.50.
Yeah, $136.50. Nice sale.
And it went to Hawaii, and so that's great. So I'm just, I'm gonna give my grandmother-in-law the profits from
your grandmother-in-law. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, how nice! That's so nice. And then this is wrong one. I'm showing that again. Did I have your other sale?
Oh, the other thing was just, this was a baggy wall from a baggy wall haul.
Here it is. I have it.
It's I got 2 Barbie fashions in this, from the baggy wall, and it was I think I got the 2 of them for $3.99. This one is actually opened, and for $22, $21.
Nice. That's for that little set. Very nice.
Yeah. And the other one I have is a wedding, like a bridal gown. And hopefully I'll sell it for about the same, maybe a couple dollars more.
Oh, you have another one too?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So,
and you have it right there in the condition. Package is open, but all pieces appear to be included. No doll. So that's very straightforward. And I have a couple sales to show. There we go. So mine are.
They're not as cool as Angela Lansbury, though, are they?
No, I have
her calisthenics.
Yeah, that was an interesting sale. That was definitely unique. So I sold these were vintage 80s boots that were got in the bins for 99 cents a pound. I sold them for $34.99 and plus shipping on eBay.
Awesome.
And then I have a Poshmark sale that I sold and this is an unusual one because I don't usually list vintage on Poshmark, but I just happened to have cross listed this one, and I sold it for $20. And again, I got it in the bins for 99 cents a pound.
Love it.
And then my next sale was this was a surprise. This was a Mercari sale. Now I had this jacket. It's a motorcycle jacket. I paid $9.99 for it. Sold it for $71 on Mercari. They didn't even make an offer. That was like the promoted price, but I had this listed on Poshmark and eBay, and I got like a couple lowball offers. I think I got like a $30 or $40 offer on eBay, and I countered, and they never. But I ended up selling it on Mercari for $71. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was a nice surprise. And then to wrap up, we have a question for you. What cross-platform listing tips do you have? So let us know in the YouTube comments if you have any tips on cross-listing or you sell on multiple platforms. And where can we find you, Anastasia?
All over the place. The best bet is if you want to just, ask me a question or reach out directly is through my Gmail email. But come look at my stuff on eBay, any of the marketplaces. I'm happy to answer any questions. And as I said, if anybody has any video on how to sell on Facebook Marketplace,
yeah, I'd be interested in knowing more information about that too. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. So she is George's toy chest pretty much everywhere.
Yep.
George is her 90 years young dad and her business partner. So
that's him.
And so definitely reach out to Anastasia and shop her stores. And you can find us. Lola and I are pretty much everywhere. I'm Thrifty on most platforms, including Mercari, which I don't have here. And then also email us, nalothrifts@gmail.com. If you have an idea for an upcoming show, you want to be a guest, any other comments or questions, let us know. And we will be back. Lola hopefully will be feeling better next week. And we'll be back, and hopefully I don't have a topic yet. We have a couple ideas, but we'll let you know this week what our topic's going to be. Thank you so much, Anastasia, for co-hosting. You need to get your cat to the vet. So
I know.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Great show. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.